So here's the last recording, and I'm not going to go over each section, but I wanted to point out some of the parts of this paper that, students have asked questions about, or that I really want to kind of cue you into. So what's the goal of the paper? The main thing is that you pick a quantitative study article, right? So not a commentary, not a systematic lit review, but a paper that actually conducts a study based on a topic of your interest. So based on the question that you were interested in. And once you do that, what do you do? So you look through a couple. I would get maybe just a couple and kind of see, if you can pull the information you need from that article. So if you're interested in COVID providers or social determinants of health or whatever that is, pull up a couple articles, look at one or two that you think are really robust and see if they can answer these questions. So the first part, you're going to do the article review. And the second part, you're going to do a more critical critique or analysis. So first part, it's kind of like picking out where these things exist. Again, it's 1.5 to 2 pages long. So what's the purpose of the study? What's the reason they say we're doing this study to learn more about the causes of this process? We're doing this study because no literature exists about the study. What's the study design? Is it experimental? Is it observational? How do they describe, how they're actually conducting this study? And then what are the independent and dependent variables? Which is the causal variable, the independent, and which is the outcome variable, the dependent? Remember, we discussed many types of data. Primary data, did the researcher conduct their own study? Or secondary, were they doing an analysis of existing data? So I'm analyzing the healthcare and retirement study. I'm analyzing Medicare data. I'm analyzing Medicaid data. Those are our secondary analyses of data. And then if they are using someone's data, where are they? What are they from? What is their target population? And then what is the study population? Who did they want to study? And then how did they include, exclude to get that final study population? What's their final sample size? Remember the activity we did about septic shock or the vaccination reminders? It's the same thing. What's the final sample size? How did they do sampling? Did they convenience sample, meaning get the first 50 people that signed up? Or did they do some kind of stratified cluster or a simple random sample? What did they say? And then was there a control group or not? And this is a bit of a reach. So just look in the results section when they talk about what kind of statistical testing they did. Was it a t-test, regression, ANOVA? Kind of pull that out and name what they did. And then what was their main findings, right? Findings are what did the data tell them without interpretation? And then the conclusion are really a discussion based on interpreting the findings into more meaningful language. And then what were the limitations of their study? Remember the exclusions, right? What did they do? What were some limitations that the authors talked about? So the first part, you're kind of mirroring that exercise we did in class a little while ago, but you're picking an article that you're interested in and you're using that article to kind of pull those pieces together based on a topic of your interest. And this part is the second piece. And I want you to think of this as more not finding data. So the first part's more factual. This part is more like, okay, so this is what the researcher said, and now I'm going to evaluate it based on the stuff that I'm learning and the experience that I'm gaining. So the first thing I want to show you is the journal credible? And I want to show you that and give you 2 ways to kind of access that information that's really kind of quick and easy. So the first, I've put a link that you can see. I'm going to stop share and share again. I'll show you the link. You'll see the link in 1 second. And I've gotten rid of ads, and I'm sorry, but they're ads on the site. So what this is this is a journal and a country rank. So it will rank the journal. So let's say that you're pulling, right? You see all the things I've looked at, right? So let's say that we're looking at, let's say you're doing Journal, I'm sorry, American Journal of Medicine, American Journal. Oh, am I not spelling right? Let's see. Sorry. There you go. An American Journal of Medicine, JAMA, as we call it. We'll search. American Journal of Medicine. Let's see. Well, maybe we'll pick another one. Let's pick up. Here we go. Right. Journal of the American Medical Association. We're gonna look. Here's JAMA, right? This is the proper title, and you see the journal. So we'll click on the journal. It's got an H index, which you can interpret if you want. What I found in the past is students really read the information about the journal. So what does it tell you? It's peer-reviewed, international, member of consortium. It tells you how many electronic copies. But if we scroll down, I'm sorry, ignore the ads, right? We can look at the SRJ. Actually, well, look, so its citations have kind of dropped a little bit, right? So it's experienced a drop in citations, but you want to look here, right? So in this, right, this is a widget you may want on your own website. I don't know why, maybe you're tracking journals, but what this shows you is it's a Q1, and Q1 to Q4 to the lowest, it's in the highest quartile or quarter of ranking, so it has a high score. And I'm going to show you how to do, this is the SRJ score here, but I'm going to show you a way to also look it up on the journal. So I'm going to pick up our home screen of the library. Let me actually do it here. I'll show you, I'll walk you through it. Let me just stop share. Let me bring up, I'm bringing it up again, and I'm just going to get to our Cook Library homepage. And I will share with you. 1 second. So you can also do it this way as well. You can scroll down, and if you get to journal list, and I've given you that link, you can type journal of the American Medical sorry. Right, search it. You can find the journal itself and just look at the impact factor and see what they say. Here we go. Right, so we're going to look in a place that carries it. We don't want the printed copy unless you're in the library. We're going to go to its website. And a lot of times these websites are super busy, right? So what I would say is go for authors, because authors are interested in impact factor. We want to publish in JAMA that is, has a high impact, right? Any journal that has a high impact. So this shows you the editor-in-chief, executive editor. We can scroll through all of the information, their objectives, and then we look here, impact factor. And it says impact factor is one of the highest in medicine and science, right? So we would say, right, this is a very good journal. And you can do the same process with any journal that you pick. So I'm going to go back to the requirements just for a second. That was the big piece. I want to make sure that you have access to that information. And then, did you find any conflict of interest? Remember, some of the authors may say, I'm supported by a research organization that funded this study. And how did they justify the need for the study? Did they just talk about literature and then state their hypotheses or objectives? How did they justify it? Is it filling a gap? Is it a new intervention? How did they bring in that study and say that it was unique? Did they clearly state the purpose? And do you think, when you look at their design, based on what you know from the course, is there anything you would have done differently, right? What do you think worked, what didn't work, and what should be different? And then representative, how they chose the sample in part one. Do you think that the sample they ended up with, the sample, a study sample, really was representative of the target population? Were there any bias in the study setting, control, etc.? Did they only use patients within their practice, or was there funding? Like what, paying people? What happened in terms of study design setting in the control group? And then when they talk about the relationship between the independent and dependent variable and the findings, how strong was it? Did they talk about significance? How much significance? What level of significance? And then do you think from your read of it that the study conclusion made sense based on the findings? Findings are data, study conclusion interprets it. How were the limitations discussed? Did they talk about future directions? And then this is an open question. Maybe you're picking a study that's in your wheelhouse as a clinician. Do you think they missed certain information or some data they should have collected? What was missing, right? What, if you were the researcher and you had an opportunity to kind of redesign or fix things in this study, what would you fix? So again, this is just a short video to get you thinking about the paper. Reach out to me with questions people have, right? And then here, right? Spelling, grammar, writing, flow, etc. That's important. APA style. I'll show you really quickly after this, right? So review of the article, the critique, spelling and grammar, and APA. If I can get the library website, I will get it again and I will show you, because I chat librarians a lot. They haven't banned me yet, but I will show you. So let me go back in. I want to just share this screen with you. Right here. Right, so we're chatting a librarian and you could chat. I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm gonna move my bar here. I'm gonna, a live human. Okay, I'm gonna say, can you, oh, pardon me. A7. Oh, sorry about the sound. There we go. Oh, MLA, let's see, APA. MLA, APA, citation examples, perfect. What else should we ask? Whatever else you want to ask, you could ask. Thank you. Perfect. And we can close, right? So you guys get it. Right, these are just some ways when you're working on this paper, right, to find the information that you need. And again, it's a librarian, just like, do you need more citation style? So exactly, you get it. So just overview. If you have any questions about the paper, please do me a favor and reach out. I prefer that you ask me questions via email if you want to set up a time. I've met with people during office hours. I'm aware that you're working, and of course I respect that. So please, reach out and we can find another time to meet if you'd like to meet virtually. So reach out, feel free. I'm here to help, and so is the librarian. Take care.